You ready? All right?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, so to make our Damascus billet, I've spent quite a few hours working on it before now, just to be able to shortcut the process a bit. But generally, start off with your billet of lots of layers of this steel, which is 3mm, 15N20, and then another sheet of 1080. And there's probably enough steel for about 29, and we might get one out of it. Generally, you alternate the layers, so it's 15N20 and then 1080. But we don't do that for this particular process. We halve it and we stick all the 15N20 at the top and all the 1080 at the bottom. And we forge that down, and that gives us a lump of half and half. And then we alternate the layers that way and build them up into a 4 square and forge that into a billet as well. And that gives us a bit of a star shape, and then we'll go again. Hang on a minute.
Okay.
This gets slightly more complicated to draw out. Each one of these has got 4 pieces in, which is that. So you've got a star in that one, a star in that one, a star in there. We just keep reducing that pattern down until we've got a whole block of mini stars, which they distort slightly as well with the forging and the cleanup process in between each forging session. So yeah, we'll get. Yeah, pretty much. It's all kind of in my head, I suppose. So try something different. You know, there's a lot of standard patterns that we see quite a lot now, and just want to keep pushing the mosaic boundary, if you like, with different kind of mosaic. But yeah, it is really a mosaic. Yeah. So you either tiling it or you're doing the accordion cut process to be able to create that pattern. It could be used for anything really, from jewellery even, if you were to use it out of stainless, or to pretty much anything. Yeah, but it looks good on knives. The problem with this process is that all of your pattern, the really interesting bit, is on the end of your piece of steel, which is only a small portion of the whole lump. So to be able to do that, we need to either tile it or accordion cut the steel, which is one of the processes we're going to show today, to be able to produce the pattern on the side of the blade rather than just on the very tip. I could just draw out, I suppose. My chalkboard's rubbish, but just so you get the idea. That's crap. Start again. There we go. Right. So there's your lump of steel, and all the pattern is on there, and we want it to be travelling the length of the blade. So we're going to do an accordion cut process, which cuts into the lump of steel, and we'll draw it out, and it will show all the pattern. I've lumped in 2 lumps together, 2 billets together, so really I've not saved a lot of, I wouldn't have saved a lot of time, but just doing one at a time. But I've got close to 30 hours just getting to the process of getting to this lump here, and half of that is forging time, maybe a little bit less, but there's a lot of cleanup time as well. So grinding, surface grinder work on the surface grinder. When you build up this square here, you need at least 2 to 3 faces that are perfectly square, so that you can weld it together really nicely and you don't get any air gaps, because I dry weld, so I don't use a lot of flux. I do weld along the seams with TIG, which would be sort of along these seams, and that stops air ingress, but you get less pattern distortion as well. Keep all your square pieces nice and square. So we've got a lump of a billet of steel. We'll start off by just marking out our drilling and cutting. So we'll go to the bench and put some lines on it, put some punch marks on it.
Okay.
create a bit of a grid pattern on here. We'll punch mark some areas where we're going to drill, and then we can also bandsaw cut into those drill marks. So, say 120 mil of steel here, lengthwise, and we're going to mark out, we got a little bit extra, but we'll mark out every 10 mil. You want it fairly accurate, but we're not rocket scientists, so. And that's going to go right across. We then measure the width, and we've got 35 mil. I know I want, on my radiuses, I want 10 mil there really, because when we open it up, it all gets sort of stretched and thinner. And I'm going to mark in 10 mil from the outside edges, both sides of the steel. We can shortcut it by just giving ourselves a few pointers and marking our line. And we'll do the same the other side. So we've got our grid, and now we just want to alternate. If I start this side, following hole will be this side, and the following hole will be that side, and we'll just punch mark it. So we've got the centre pop for the drill to go down. I'll just grab a hammer. Here we go. We'll do some centre popping, really basic stuff. Helps if you've got the vice tight. First two marks, so we're coming over this side now, back over to this side. There we go. Next process is to drill where we've got our centre pops. Okay, so once you've drilled all your holes, we're then going to use the bandsaw and we're going to cut in the long side. That'll give us the positions and the cuts that will be opened up to create the accordion. We'll turn her on. Use a little push stick, so I use my weight against the steel. Far more accurate than using a slitting disc on a grinder. So we've got all our holes drilled and we've got all our bandsaw cuts into the holes, and that starts to give us our accordion shape pattern. And all the pattern that is on the end of the bars will show on these flats, and we'll round these corners now on the belt grinder, and that will get rid of our stress risers, otherwise you end up with possible cracks in the billet. So yeah, so we've put our radius in on all these cuts, and then we're going to go to the forge. So our steel's going straight in the forge. I don't tend to weld long bars on my billets, keep them fairly short and use tongs. So pretty much at this point I get rid of these and stick with these. They make a massive difference. Not only good for your eyes, they actually allow you to see into the forge, see the heat of the billet that you're warming up far better. You don't get the glare. You cut through the forge light a little bit and allows you to see a lot better. So.
And you look cooler.
Oh, look cool, the main important thing. So with this forge, I've got like a cut-off lever on it, so drop the gas percentage right down. It means I'm not getting burnt when I put my steel in. And then I can up the power once it's in there. Because I've removed quite a lot of steel there, and we've got those cuts in the billet, it's a lot of surface area, so it heats up quicker. So shouldn't be too bad. Yeah, one really important thing is to keep your steel moving. Just get a nice even heat. You don't want a cold patch on the bottom of your forge, so keep your steel moving and you'll get to temperature pretty quick.
I hope you're enjoying the video so far, and if you are, then you need to know about our sponsors who made this video possible. We have multi-tool products who do the 84 engineered belt grinders, Clark Knives, who are a 3-generation family-run business who offer stock removal Damascus billets, but also offer professional heat treatment service for all types of knives. And GFS Knife Supplies. They are a one-stop shop for all your knife making consumables. GFS is a small family-run business and some of the quickest deliveries for your knife making needs, including but not limited to handle material, wood G10 liners and pins, the rock blade heat kilns, quenching oil for hardening knives, abrasive belts that can cut through hardened steel, and of course the steel stock that you use for making knives. Have a look at the brand new things that these guys have to offer by clicking the links in the description, and at the same time it's a little thank you to them for sponsoring these videos.
It's a Venturi forge. Propane and oxygen getting fed in, and it's the propane that sucks the oxygen through the Venturi burners. You turn up the propane, sucks more oxygen. You know, it's got little shut-off valves on the top. So I've got 5 burners so that I can get a really nice spread of even heat. So it's almost like having what they call a ribbon burner, which is a block with lots of tiny little holes in. You get nice even heat, nice even temperature in the forge, no hot spot. And it also allows me to turn up and down different burners. I can even block a couple of burners off and just have a much smaller amount of heat going in there. So.